Continuing with our review, for number 6, we're given a revenue function and a cost function, and we need to come up with a profit function, which is very simple. Remember that the profit function is simply the revenue function minus the cost function, because profit is what's left over when you take your income and then subtract all of your costs. Whatever is whatever is left over is the profit. So R of x is 22x minus 14x plus 54. And if you stop there, you've made a mistake. It's R of x minus the entire cost function. So I have to put parentheses around the cost function. Now we have R of x minus the cost function. So this negative sign is going to get distributed through. So this would give us 22x minus 14x plus 54, which is 22 minus 14 is 8, so 8x, and I did just what I said not to do, minus 54. We distribute the minus sign through. So 22x minus 14x is 8x, and minus 54. So the profit function is this. All right, number 7, we're going to solve a system of two equations, and we can either use the substitution method or the elimination method. I think I'm going to it'd be easy to use the substitution method. We could just solve this easily for y. Y would be 2x plus 7, and then replace this y with 2x plus 7, and we get an equation with only x's, and we solve for the x's and so on, continue. But I think I'm going to go ahead and use the elimination method, or which is also called the addition method, because if this were a negative 6x, it would cancel with this 6x when I added the equations together. So all I need to do is multiply this top equation by 3, and I would get negative 6x plus 3y equals 21. I multiplied negative 2 by 3, and this 1 by a 3, and I multiplied this 7 by the 3. So what I meant by 1 is 1y became 3y. Negative 2x became negative 6x. And I'll write this second equation just underneath as it is. Now we can just add them together and the x's cancel out. That's going to give us when we add this, we get 15y equals 45. So we divide by 15 and we get y equals 45 over 15 is equal to 3, because 3 times 15 is 45. Okay, that's half of this solution. The y value is 3. Now I need the x value. So let's go back to the first equation. Actually, we should plug it into both to verify. But if y is a 3, the first equation would be negative 2x plus 3 equals 7, which would mean that negative 2x is equal to 4 when I subtract 3 from both sides. So x is going to be a negative 2. So I'm going to take a chance that that's the correct answer. And now, though, I'm going to verify it by plugging it into this equation right here. So 6x would be 6 times negative 2. That'd be negative 12. 12y would be 12 times 3, which is 36. And that happens to be negative 12 and 36 is 24. And indeed, it works. Okay, so we know we have the correct answer for this. All right, last problem for this video. Let's see what we've got. Belmont Records produces DVD records, if that's a thing. The fixed cost for producing the DVDs is $160,000. And the cost of making each DVD is 85 cents. Each DVD sells for $5. How many DVDs must be sold in order to break even? All right, so we need to find the cost function, the revenue function, and set them equal to each other and solve for x to find the break-even point. All right, so let's see what we've got. We want to set r of x equal to c of x. So the revenue function should be easy. Each DVD sells for $5. So 5x. R of x is equal to 5x. $5 times the number that you are selling. C of x is the cost function. Well, they sell for 85 cents each, so it's going to be 0.85x, but then there's a fixed cost involved of $160,000. Big number, goodness. All right. I may have to go find a calculator for this. We'll find out. Okay, so let's subtract 0.85x from both sides. And this would be 4.15x equals 160,000. So our answer is what we get when we divide by 4.15. And I've found my cell phone, so I'm going to use the calculator to do 160,000 divided by 4.15, and we get 38,554. There's actually a 0.21 and so on. So if you were going to round up, which would be the better thing to do, always round up. Because it's a break even, if you don't round up, then you would end up with this many. You'd actually have a little bit of a loss. So the break even point is either the break even or the amount that just barely makes you a little bit of money. So we're going to round it up. So I would say 38555. But if you wrote out 38554 and or 0.21 on it, that's perfectly fine. I'm going to round it up. So 38,555. All right, so if 20,000 DVDs are sold, what is the profit or loss? Well, the profit function would simply be r of x minus c of x, which would be, we already computed r of x. R of x is 5x, and then minus this function. If you take 5x minus this in parentheses, you would end up getting 4.15x. We already did the work for that. Minus 160,000. All right, so that's the profit function. If 20,000 DVDs are sold, what is the profit or loss? If it's negative, it would be called a loss. So we need P of 20,000. That means this is going to tell us what the profit is if we sell 20,000 DVDs. So it will be 4.15 times 20,000 minus 160,000, and let's see what we get. 4.15 times 20,000 minus 160,000. And it looks like we get a negative $77,000. So our profit, so we need to sell a whole bunch more than 20,000 to make a profit. So the profit or loss, we'll just write a negative 77,000. And that's in dollars. So maybe I'll put the dollar sign and then put a negative sign out front like that.